everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my channel for a new Heritage Scrapbook process video. Today is part 3 of 3 in a mini-series that I was doing about how to incorporate historical documents into a heritage album. Here's a look at the document that I'm going to be using. It's a passenger list from 1882 of when a second great-grandmother emigrated to the US. Here's a look at some of the pattern papers I'm going to use. They're from the new Maggie Holmes Bloom collection, and I'm going to use a 4x6 and a just under 2x2 photo of the woman who came over to the US from Germany. So I just got this collection and I'm really excited to use it, and I knew when I printed these photos out that I wanted to use this collection. Here are some older papers that I had pulled out, some specialty papers from the Wonder collection, that pink paisley memorandum label paper, and a few others. I don't use much of that, but I wanted just to have it nearby as an option. So I decided to go ahead and use this really pretty blush colored paper as my background, and I wanted to bring in this black floral. Now, I kind of had an idea of how this layout was going to work, and I knew that I wanted to have a box for my journaling. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to trim down the pink paper to just under 9x12 so that I can have a bit of this black border around it. And I'm looking here through the rest of the 12x12 papers that I got because I know that I want to have a little box of journaling, and I thought I may be able to use one of those papers or something here from the cut apart sheet. I don't end up going that route, but I was able to preserve my favorite piece of the cut apart sheet, so that was exciting. So in an effort to preserve as much of this paper as I can, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the center of this pattern paper here so that I can use it later. I thought about bringing it into the layout elsewhere, but I end up incorporating more black elsewhere. So I'm going to trim about a 1/4 inch off of each side of this pink paper so that I have a nice thin border around the page. So next I'm looking for something that I can journal on. If I do use a pattern paper, I want it to be pretty neutral, so there's not too much going on and you can see my text. I decided that none of those options are going to work, so instead I'm going to focus on some layers behind the photo. I have the 2 specialty papers here from Crepe Paper's Wonder collection, and I thought about bringing some gold into this layout. I don't use gold often, but I felt like I can make it work here. But while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and decide how I'm going to map these photos. This paper is from Maggie Holmes Confetti Collection from last spring, and it's just a black and white polka dot. And now here I'm looking through some more papers from the Bloom collection because I realized that I wanted to matte the larger photo in pink. So I'm looking through my pink options here. Now in this collection I couldn't find the pink that I was looking for. There was just so much contrast, so I decided to go to the Hello Love collection, also from Crepe Paper, because I knew there was a ton of pink in there. And I ended up going with this ombre piece of pattern paper and using the lighter portion of that to matte the photo. So there's not too much contrast between the photo mat and the background paper. I wanted to keep this nice and soft. Next, I'm deciding how I'm going to bring in this vellum, and I think what I'm going to do is just simply layer it behind the larger photo so that I have some gold flecks peeking out from behind it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, before I get anything adhered down, kind of figure out the rest of my layout. So I'm going to go ahead and get the vellum cut down, and I did it a little crooked, and when I put the photo down I can't be sure if it's straight because the vellum is crooked. I move on to my journaling block, and I'm going to use this cut apart sheet from Dear Lizzie's Polka Dot Party. I just unearthed this from my stash of scraps, and I love using it for journaling. Here are some thickers that I wanted to use. I really thought I would use this black script font because I had enough letters and I hadn't used it in forever, but I just didn't like the heaviness of the darkness on the page, so I decided to go with something a little lighter. These thickers I got at Joann's a while ago. It's just like a cream thicker with some black text on it. And I really liked the way that it looked, but you'll see what I ended up going with in a minute. So I'm pleased with this placement of everything, so I'm going ahead and getting things stuck down at this point. And the title of this page is her name, Bertha Klaproth. And so what I'm doing here is I pulled out some tile stickers from my Messy Box subscription from A Beautiful Mess. I think they're from May's Box maybe. And they're cream, and I didn't want the title to be just one big blob of cream, so I end up switching out the thickers, and I go for this this gold thicker. I got these at Hobby Lobby a while ago, and they're still available at my current Hobby Lobby, so if you're interested, go check it out. So fortunately, I had enough of the letters that I needed for this title. That usually does not happen, so I was very pleased with that. And then, off camera, what I had done is gone through the cardstock sticker sheet from the Balloon collection and pulled off some of the pieces I thought I would want to use and just put them aside on a piece of wax paper. So I don't really like that camera in the bottom right of the little journaling card there, so I decided to cover it up with this floral. I'm going to pop it up on some foam adhesive, and so I'm just leaving the release paper on it so that I can move it around while I'm working. I thought about moving the entire layout down. It seemed like all the action was happening up at the top, but then when I moved it down, I realized that it wasn't really working with the rule of thirds, where you want to keep your subject, your focal point in one of the areas of the page where, if you're looking at it like a tic-tac-toe board, two lines intersect. So in this case, it's happening around her eyes in the top left hand of the layout. So that's why I put it there, and that's where it will stay. So next I'm going to go ahead and get started on my journaling. I decided what to journal based on some information I had gleaned when I was doing the family tree research on Ancestry.com. So the journaling says, Bertha Rosenberg, a second great-grandmother, was born in Germany around 1854. She married William Klaproth in 1880 and emigrated to the U.S. with her 6-month-old in 1882 on the steamship Sabano. They settled in Philadelphia, where she helped in the family's butcher shop until she died in 1919. Now, I don't know how many of you are Downton Abbey fans, but one of the things that struck me when I saw the smaller of the two photos is how she looks just like Mrs. Patmore. Now, I knew the next page that I want to do is about her husband, and I have a similar portrait of him taken at the same time, and they are kind of facing each other in the picture. So I know that I want this layout on the left, and I want his layout on the right. A lot of the information I had about her was similar information about him. I struggled to not include so much of that information on her page because I was going to then again repeat it on his page, which is the next one over. So the next thing I'm doing is looking for some number stickers that I can use to record the date. So I'm going with this basic gray sticker sheet from the Capture collection, I believe, to record the date. The larger photo, the 4x6, was taken in 1898 in Germany. So these families, they came over, these in particular, my families, they came over from Germany and lived here and had homes and businesses here, but I find that they went back and forth frequently. So we had this, I apologize for the glare. In an old family photo album, we had this photo listed as taken in 1898 in Germany. So she would have been in her mid-30s when this photo was taken, and I'm very appreciative for that information that, our grandmother had taken the time to write down, because I think it's cool, when you're looking at these older photos to see exactly when they were taken. So I'm just using my tweezers here to get the numbers down, and then I layered a couple of those stickers from the sticker sheet underneath it so that it kind of had a resting place. I apologize for my head there, but I had to make sure they were on straight. So one of the last things I'm going to do is add another sticker up at the top. I felt like it needed a little more weight up there, and so I consulted the Shine sticker sheet because I knew that there is a plethora of florals left on these guys. And I pulled one from the Shine sheet, but I just felt like the motifs weren't of the same style. The ones from the Balloon collection are much more realistic. So I pulled this larger pink flower and just layered it up there at the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and place some foam adhesive just under the corner of it so that it has some extra dimension. Now here's a look at how I'm incorporating the historical document. Here is a look at my album. It's just a 9x12 Studio Calico handbook, and it's really a no-brainer, you guys. I printed it out as an 8.5 by 11 document on on my printer, and then I'm taking an 8.5 by 11 page protector and I'm lining it up with the holes of the Studio Calico handbook page protector, which has 4 holes, and I'm just simply going to punch the correct holes in the 8.5 by 11 sheet. Here's one last look at my layout along with a few close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching and for commenting. You guys are so sweet and I love reading your comments. If you guys are interested in seeing more videos like this, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.